Clark here. Today we're going to talk about changing tires and making something that's dreaded by a lot of people just way easier and hopefully help you a lot. Okay, I start with the tire with the disc side down, and I let the air out, the valve, take it all the way out, and then I undo the rim lock, and on the rim lock I loosen it all the way to like the last thread or two, so you have plenty of room on the rim lock. And then we loosen the tire off the bead. Of course, the front, some tires are a little easier than others. You get to the rim lock, push here, and now my tire's all the way off, and I'll flip it over. Of course, I have a good tire stand I'm using. Okay, so our tire's all the way off the bead, all the way around. I start about a quarter of the way away from the rim lock. Take a decent size bite there with my Motion Pro tire spoons. Work well. Just like an inch and a half away or so for next bite. Boom. And then that's why it's nice to have three. You don't have to worry about stressing to grab that other one out. And then another bite. So now these come out. And with this hand, I'm keeping the tire off the bead with my left hand. Just the last few bites that come real easy as I keep my left hand on them and pulling up. Okay, so now we got the tire completely off. This is one of the steps that we do is a little bit different than a lot of other people do. We don't pull the tube out right here. We flip it over, grab in here, and I'm kind of helping the tire over. Hold this one with my left hand. And on the rear, I just stick it under the sprocket. Come on over. Just little bites, about 1.5 inches, 2 inches apart. And now I've gone far enough. I've got plenty of room here, and I'm right at the rim lock. I can pull the whole tire and tube out at one time, right like this. So at this point, I have them both off. I put the tire right, the wheel back on, and then I look over the wheel to make sure there's no damage and check out the rim lock. So now I've checked the rim, how many spokes, nipples showing through their side, or we're looking good, rim lock's good. Have our new Dunlop MX-51 up here. You can powder up the inside of the tire to help keep it from chafing with the tube and binding up. That's a good idea to do. I throw my tube back in. And this step, having the tube in the tire to start, is different than what a lot of people are used to doing. And so we put a little bit of air in there, just about that much, just to where it's just keeping it firm and held in the tire and away from any tire irons you might have in there. The next step is I grab our tire paste. I use the stuff from Hunter Engineering, who makes it for the automotive industry. I haven't found anything in the dirt bike industry that anybody's selling that's any good. So I've got both sides lubricated. Okay, so we're going to put the valve stem in the rim, and as you can see, the nut is still here securely on the tube. We want to make sure that stays there and is good. And then we have an extra nut that we will place here to hold the tube for us, and we'll adjust that later when we're all done. So right now I dial it down pretty far, 3/4 of the way or so, and then you feel in the back, and we press up against the tire. And on the front, that's been sitting out in the sun a bit, you can push it on like 3/4 the way on, right here, just like that. Then you push your rim lock in. Take one bite, 2 bites, that simple. Now we flip it over again. Now this is the spot that if since we put the tube in, we have to work with the rim lock. So I pull out, hit the rim lock, walk it over, and then with this hand push the rim lock, and then let it back. Now the rim lock's back behind. Everything's good on this side. Our tube is behind the tire. So now we flip back over. I start a little ways away from the valve stem. I grab my bead buddy. It's important to have something like this. It makes it a whole lot easier. So now I've gotten about halfway around, and I'm using my left hand to keep the tire off the bead with each bite. And I'm here at the very end. Walk it in just barely, and then pull my bead buddy out. Air up the tire. A key here is to make sure that you're all the way on the bead. So I'll look all the way on the bead, and then I'll flip it over and double check that I'm all the way on bead on both sides. Then I tighten the rim lock first. So you tighten up about that tight, just regular tightness there. You don't want to go too tight, you'll break the rim lock or bow out your rim. And then on our nut here, if you have a Honda style rim that has a big opening, you can install one of these little Honda rubber pieces, which are cool. If you don't, then you just leave your nut on here and install your cap. And then I put the nut on, the cap, and the nut to where the nut is touching the cap. Just like so. And you're ready to go. So that's how to change a front tire. If you want to see how to change a rear tire,